Hello guys, in this video I'm going to explain to you how to get a Chinese driving license as a foreigner. Also, I'm going to explain to you what it's like to drive in China. I hope this video is useful. First of all, you need two things. One is your passport. Two is your driving license from back home. With these two things, you can get a Chinese driving license. What you need to do is get your driving license from back home translated into Chinese and your passport translated into Chinese. Go to a translation department. If you want to know more about that, I can also help you. And then once you have these two documents translated, then you're basically good to go. The next step is to find your local traffic police department. At these traffic police departments, there are test centers. I got my driving license in Ruzhou, which is a small city in Shandong province, and I had to get a taxi for 45 minutes to get to that test center from where I was living at the time. Now I live in Qingdao, and the test center in Qingdao is in Changyang. Every city is different, so wherever you live, you must ask a local and they will tell you where to go. And then you must go there and go there as early as possible because it opens early and those test centers can get very, very big. Now, what usually happens is those test centers are open from Monday to Friday, but depending on which city you go to, they're open on different days, and they have test dates and slots on different days. So you need to ask a local of your city which day it is and at what time. When I went in the morning. In the morning, you do all of your paperwork stuff. You present your passport translated, your driving license from back home translated, and then you have a passport-sized photograph, and then you fill out an application form. Go with a Chinese friend if your Chinese is not good, because you're going to need to fill out that application form. Then once you fill that all out and it's all good, you pay them the money, you give them the application form, and then they file it. Everything goes well. In the afternoon, you will be able to sit a test. You'll be able to sit a test, which is a computer-based test. It's 100 questions. You need to get more than 90 to pass. If you pass, they will give you a driving license on the same day, and you can start driving that evening or the next day. It's very, very simple. Now, the next question you're probably thinking about is that test in Chinese? It is in Chinese, but there's an option to choose a language. You can choose English, you can choose Russian, you can choose Spanish. I think there's actually quite a big list of languages you can choose from. So you select English if you're an English speaker, and then you do the test. So it's not that difficult. Another tip that I would give you is that the rules in China are very similar to American rules. They use American English, so if you come from America, you're going to find it very easy to pass this test. But if you come from England, it's going to be a little bit tricky because some of the vocabulary and terms and things are a bit different. But you can study for that, and I can send you the link for where you can study for the test online. It's totally free. It's called ChineseDrivingTest.com. Once you pass your driving license, you get a driving license like this. It's green, and it's very similar to a driving license that you would find back home, but it's all in Chinese. It will have, you need to have a Chinese name or your name translated in Chinese. They will use that to put it on your driving license. And then once you have that, you're legal and you can drive on the road. You can drive any car basically, because all cars in China are insured to drive, for anybody to drive in them, as long as you've got a driving license. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple. Now, when you come to buy a car, you will also get a license for your car, and it's a blue one, and inside is a picture of your car and also some information about the car as well. So you need to keep this and your driving license together, and it must be kept in the car at all times. That's a legal requirement, because if you get stopped over, they will ask you for those licenses, and if you don't have them, it's going to be a big headache, especially if you're a foreigner. In terms of getting stopped over, I've been driving in China for like 5 years now, and I've only been stopped like 3 times. 2 of those times I got breathalyzed, and 1 of those times they just wanted to just have a check, and that was it. So they don't really check often, but they do check. You must never drink alcohol if you're driving. Of course, that's obvious, but in China it's very, very serious. Your license will obviously be taken away from you, but if you're a foreigner, you will probably get deported. So be careful with that one. Not even a single drop of alcohol is allowed to be consumed. You can't drink any. It will show up on those breathalyzers that they have. So yeah, just watch out for that. Now, in terms of driving in China, a lot of people say that Chinese people drive really crazy, but I don't think so. I think they drive like much slower. They don't indicate sometimes, so be aware of that, but you get used to it. In Europe they drive much faster, but in China they drive a lot slower, so I find that quite easy. I just dart past them, I indicate, and it's no problem. Of course, like the first few months it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's like driving anywhere else in the world. The roads are really good, and it's really safe. I've only had like 1 crash, but it was a very it wasn't a very serious crash, and apart from that, nothing has ever happened. It's really safe to drive here. A lot of people think it's dangerous, but it's not at all. Everyone follows the rules. They just don't indicate sometimes, they just turn. So just keep an eye on the cars in front of you and behind you if you're going to turn. But I always indicate. They don't indicate, but that's okay, I'm aware of it. One benefit of driving in China is the maintenance costs. I was surprised by like how cheap the maintenance costs are, like to change your oil, change your tires, or you know, like fix like some scratches, or you know, wash your car or whatever. It's just so cheap compared to Europe and America. It's really good, so that's really convenient. Petrol prices pretty normal. Yeah, I think it's really convenient. It's convenient to drive in China. You can get around easily, and you can just drive anywhere in China. And if you want to drive somewhere far away from where you're living, you can just get a plane, and then once you arrive in that city, you can rent a car, and then you can drive wherever you want. Yeah, it's really convenient. If you have any questions, please send me a message. I can help you with finding the test center in your local city, and also how to find a translation center to get your documents translated. If you like this video, please give me a heart. And if you have a friend who wants to get a driving license in China, please share with them this video. Thank you for listening. Stay awesome.